Ryan from Wize Solutions. How's your morning going?
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah?
Doing well. How about you?
Going well, getting some good conversations in here, definitely.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Wize Solutions and what you do.
Yeah, so Wize Solutions is an installation company in the material handling space. So 90% of the products that you see on the show floor here,
Yeah.
we install. We
Oh, okay.
put together for different companies in their buildings.
Nice. Yeah. That's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of nuts and bolts to count and keep track of, right?
Definitely. So do you have like a specialty on your something or?
Yeah, so we started as a group that focused specifically on pallet racking.
Okay.
And everything that gets involved with pallet racking, those types of systems. And over the years, we've grown and done lots of different things, but specifically dock and door equipment, automation, shuttles, those kinds of things are things that we're doing now.
Interesting. And tell us a little bit about kind of that evolution for Wize, because you've been expanding, right? And I think you have a recent acquisition too as well. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that evolution.
Yeah, that's a great question. We started in 2008 as a small outfit out of Salt Lake City, Utah, and we worked as one of our founding partners had a family relationship that sold the racking.
Okay.
And needed somebody to put it up.
Yeah.
So a bunch of college kids, myself and others included, got together and would go to school in the morning, in the afternoon, and then at night we'd go into these warehouses. And
so you started with the company putting up racks.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Pretend like we knew what we were doing at the time, right? And eventually kind of word got out that we had this little business and we're doing well with it, and we decided we needed to hire people that knew what they were doing a little bit more than us.
Okay.
So we brought in some key people and started doing more regional stuff in the Utah Intermountain West market. 2011, we took our company to California, made a small acquisition in California, and got a bunch of crews lined up and working in California, which was a huge market for us at the time.
Yeah.
And then over the last 10 years or so, we've been just kind of strategically growing throughout the country. You mentioned the acquisition we just did in Arizona.
Sure.
Which was a big deal for us. We'd have a lot of projects going on there, but we would be traveling our crews into that market, which was a big expense for us and our customers. And so we were able to get this deal done, and now we have a local presence, which is cost savings method for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that makes a lot of sense. And obviously, congratulations on the growth. It sounds like you were there right in the beginning, putting those first couple bolts in, right, to build the business, right?
Yeah, we definitely learned a lot of things along the way, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I guess tell us a little bit about kind of what you've seen in the industry, in the market, right? Because, starting, with racking, back then, and, obviously, just seeing this week, like everything that's out here from a technology perspective, there's a lot that's happened, right, in those years. So tell us kind of your perspective on that.
Yeah, it's been, we've been coming to ProMat for a long time as well, like a lot of others, but it's been an interesting shift over the last little bit from just your standard steel pallet racking systems to the automation space, where we've got a lot of different types of automation and technologies that are doing the picking and packing and fulfillment for a lot of companies. And at the end of the day, pallet racking is a staple of our business, and it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
But the growth definitely is in that automation sector, and it's definitely something that, as an installer and as a labor force, we've pivoted to be able to accommodate that. It's a more technical type of installation, right? You got to be more precise when you're going hundreds of feet in the air with systems, and robots are running on systems, and you've got to be more precise and exact in what you're doing. And so the level of competency, so to speak, has gone up to be able to make sure that you're within tolerances and things like that. And so the industry as a whole is sort of raised up to be able to meet those demands.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's very interesting that you talk about, getting a little more like technical, right, and raising the competency, because some of these solutions are just like mind-blowing in a sense, right, on what we can do and what's possible now within an operation. So tell us a little bit about, coming into the show this week, talking to your customers and things like that. I mean, what is kind of top of mind right now for people?
Yeah, so one of the main things we're discussing or our pitch deck, so to speak, is that our employees are like our family. And while we've grown to over 500 employees across the country, we still treat them as members of our family, because our employees are our business.
Yeah.
We rely heavily on our groups out in the field to be able to provide the service and the level of expertise to our customers to be able for them to have a successful project as well. And so with that, we're not skipping steps in what we're doing internally in terms of hiring practices, safety, insurances, trainings, all those kinds of things. We're not just sending anybody to people's projects.
Yeah.
They're people that we've vetted, that we've hired, we've been able to train and get through our safety program so that they're safe on their job site, they're safe for themselves, but more importantly, they're safe for their families because they're like our family, right?
Yeah.
And so that's one thing that I would say differentiates us from some of our competition, if you want to call it that, is just the fact that we prioritize that above anything else.
Interesting. And I think that's a great thing, definitely. And so, on some of those installations and things, I mean, what are people looking for nowadays? Like what type of things are they doing in terms of automation in their buildings, in terms of racking? What are you getting a lot of requests for?
Yeah, a lot of shuttle systems, a lot of full ASRS systems. Those have become sort of a more common thing in the industry. They've always sort of been there, but as the growth of technology has evolved over the years, more and more people are seeing the value and the benefit of those types of systems. A lot of people are changing their warehouse to accommodate their customers, especially in the 3PL world, right? They've got a customer that needs this aisle space or this type of racking, and then they sign another customer, and so they need a crew to come in and change everything for them, usually at a moment's notice, and get it all done quickly. Yeah. So we've been trying to be fluid with that and be adaptive to those kinds of things and be able to accommodate all different kinds of things. One of our main growth drivers over the last, call it 18 months, has been in that ASRS automated picking system space. We're doing a lot of work for companies that have signed contracts with large, online distributors, online retailers, those types of food and beverage companies.
Right.
So we've been seeing that growth in a lot of different sectors across, the material handling world.
Interesting. Yeah. And I think that, seeing that and you talk about shuttle systems and ASRS, obviously trying to get denser storage within those facilities. So are you seeing more people trying to get more out of brownfield applications versus going into new buildings? What are you seeing on that front?
Yeah. So, one of our big customers on that space, they essentially what they're doing is they're taking, these are round numbers, but call it 1 million square foot facility. They're dividing it into different sectors, call it thirds, right? And their solution is giving that building the same or more storage capacity in 1/3 of the building that they were getting over the whole building, right? And so essentially when the project's done and they've done all 3/3 of the building, they're basically getting 3 new warehouses in one existing warehouse, right?
Wow. Yeah.
And because of the density of the system, they're able to do that. And from our perspective, that's great because we're in the building at different phases and touching a lot of different parts of the building. But from our perspective, it takes over 100 of our employees on one site to be able to accommodate and get that project done in that timeline, to be able to do it and match up with the timeline of the customer. So it's an incredible feat when you really think about it, to get as much space in 1/3 of your building, have over 120 installers in that building working as you're still operating the other 2/3 of your building, and then integrate the full system.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's such a huge gain, right? To be able to maximize that cube space and get more out of that building you already have than, going through all the complications and especially the costs, right, of a new building too, to be able to do that. So pretty interesting. Or you're saying, you can basically get 3 new warehouses inside of one. That's a pretty huge gain, right?
Yeah, and it's a great, it's fun to see. It's fun to be a part of those types of meetings and planning meetings and try to figure out the labor for all that and get that all figured out and work together with the end users and customers to make it all happen. Because it's great on paper. It's a little bit different in practice, right? So it's fun.
When it all comes together. Yeah, definitely. So very interesting to talk to you here today, Ryan, and really interesting to learn about Wize Solutions and kind of what you're seeing in the market there and kind of how people are approaching these different storage solutions and installations and what they're looking at mostly. So if people are interested in learning more about Wize Solutions, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, so going to the website www.wizesolutions.com is pretty basic. LinkedIn, we're active on LinkedIn. We have an inside sales team that monitors that, and we'll take requests and those kinds of things and RFQs, or you can send a request to sales@wizesolutions.com. we monitor that as well.
All right, awesome. So definitely check that out. Check out Wize Solutions and Ryan. So Ryan, really appreciate you stopping by the booth today and talking with us. And have a good rest of the week.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Appreciate your time.
All right, have a good one.
Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's video here on our YouTube channel, the New Warehouse Podcast, and I appreciate you tuning in. If you liked what you saw, make sure you subscribe to our channel, and if you like this video in particular, make sure you like it as well. And if you want to get this great t-shirt that you see in the video behind me, Warehouses Are Sexy, head to warehousesAreSexy.com and get your own.